If we view the situation like we are helpless, then we feel stuck, standing on the sidelines, playing second character to your own story, when in actuality, we're in control. Hey, it's me. Welcome to my channel. I like to share some of the things that come across my mind. And I was thinking about accountability. I was thinking about it in two different ways. The first way is toward romantic relationships and recognizing the power of your choice. And the second way is taking blame for something you didn't do. So let's start with the latter, taking blame for something you didn't do. I'm going to call it scapegoating. Have you ever had someone come to you and they needed you to be a lending ear about a situation, and by the end of the conversation, it was somehow your fault? Not because you actually had anything to do with the situation, but just because they aren't taking accountability for their actions. You were supporting them and they decided to put the blame on you. It's just a way for someone to be unaccountable. So let me give some examples. Say your coworker had a project and they expected to get it done on time for a meeting that was coming up, but they didn't. They called you just to vent and talk about it, but somehow it ended up turning into a last minute request for you to cover their meeting that was coming up later in the day. And then suddenly it's your fault because no one ever wants to help them. When the reality is, they just didn't organize their time well. Or maybe you and a group of friends were supposed to go on a vacation and it was planned in advance, and suddenly, weeks before, one of the friends decides that they want to go. But the day before everyone is set to leave, you find out they aren't coming. They call you after the trip ends. They want to talk about how it went. And when they realize they missed out on a good time, suddenly it's your fault for not telling them about the trip sooner. When the reality is they knew in advance about the trip, but they had their own personal issues that came up. It's what happened to them is why they didn't go. It has nothing to do with you. Or maybe your best friend got into an argument with her daughter and a mutual friend told you about it. When you picked up your kids from school and you saw her daughter there, you said, "Hey, how are you? Are you okay?" And now your best friend is mad at you and telling everyone that you upset her daughter. When the reality is, you had nothing to do with their argument and she's just trying to shift the blame so she doesn't have to deal with the emotions of her daughter. Are we getting where I'm going with from the examples of scapegoat? Like someone's coming to you to talk, but if something goes wrong in their life or you don't support their excuses, it's now your fault. Often when people do this, I feel like they know you're nice or you're a considerate person, that you're more likely to comfort them and respect their feelings. But respecting their feelings isn't the same as agreeing with their stance. Just because you're my friend, family, coworker, I won't always agree with you. I'm not here to be your yes man and help you perpetuate a faultless reality. Their lack of communication, organization, or some action that they took causes them to feel upset. And it has nothing to do with you. But it's easier to blame someone else than for them to take accountability for themselves. Long term, it's almost like gaslighting, like guilt tripping. They don't know how to handle being at fault, so they're trying to shoulder all the blame onto you. And over time, you may start to feel like it's always your fault or you mess up situations and you don't know how to fix it. That's because it's not your issue to fix. With people like this, it's important to not take on any of their blame, or they may make it a consistent habit. Sometimes keeping it general can be the best stance. Like you can let them know that you are not in agreement with them, but also that you're not going to go back and forth with them either. So you could say something like, "I hope everything works out for you. We all make choices we have to live with, to each its own." And maybe if you want to throw in some hints or a little bit of shade, You could say, whatever helps you sleep at night. I don't have to live with the consequences. Or one of my personal favorites, dang, that's crazy. At the end of the day, it's really keeping the situation in line because it's not your situation to deal with. And sometimes it's just best to give them a dry, okay. The point being, let them know you won't accept their fault and don't argue. Okay, so let's switch over and talking about accountability into the other situation that was towards dating and relationships. Have you ever felt like you kept dating the same person in different bodies or just running into the same issues? There's a couple of ways to look at it. People treat you how you allow them to treat you, or you accept the love you think you deserve. Say you're dating and you keep running into people who only want a physical connection and you want a relationship and you feel like your time is being wasted. Well, you can't change every person you meet, but you can take accountability for accepting less than you deserve and date differently. You can ask questions to see if your interests align, wait longer before having intimate moments, pay attention to the red flags, and don't ignore them. This can help eliminate those undesirable options by weeding them out or them showing their true colors. Everyone isn't the same, so use discretion as needed. Let's say you're with someone who cheated on you. They did it once, then they did it again. You can't control if someone lies to you, but you can control how long you put up with their inconsistencies. If you continue to be in their presence, take accountability for what you're accepting. If someone shows you their true colors, believe them. When it comes to accountability, we may feel like we're the victim and someone is hurting us. And that may be true. We are hurt. This hurt is as a feeling. But if we view the situation like we are helpless, then we feel stuck. When in actuality, we're in control. We can make the decision to choose ourselves. We can make the decision to leave the person who continues to cheat on us. We have to be accountable for our own actions. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. If we're unhappy with the relationship, we can leave. Cheating is just an example, but this can apply to any situation: dating, friendships, family, coworkers. I feel like not taking accountability is releasing control. Standing on the sidelines, playing second character to your own story. Take your power back and choose your next step. Even if someone hurt you, you can't spend forever blaming them. You have to take accountability not for the situation, but the aftermath. If you blame them, then only they can absolve you of your pain. You leave yourself trapped where only they can release you. But if you take accountability, you shift the power. Now you don't need them to agree to release you. You're in control and you can choose to move on. One more thing, accountability can fall on both parties. So, say that you got in an argument and you're both upset. It could be a misunderstanding where you're both at fault. The situation still applies. You have a choice. Accountability, it can be admitting that you are wrong to yourself, that your idea of someone was wrong, or it could be apologizing for your mishandling of the situation. Accountability empowers us with a level of growth on how to make better choices going forward. So I'm going to end in a quote. We give our power away so we can feel validation, but this eventually will make you feel powerless. You don't need to seek permission on how to be authentic with yourself. Sometimes we choose the connection over our true selves. I don't need confirmation that my authentic self is okay. Thanks for listening.